Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Disappointed Dragon. We are continuing with the Zuru Max Retro Collection. I do, in fact, have all six. So the next one is the Alien Invasion Arcade Machine. We're going to get them all because I think they're neat. They're definitely retro-inspired. Again, I have to apologize to all of the headphone users. That crinkling is just awful. One of these days, I will pre-remove the crinkle. Maybe in the next 3 episodes, because there is 3 more of them to go. Alright. Again, my biggest issue with these things is the big old packaging. I'm not a big fan of the packaging. Also, the instructions are really confusing. I'm really bad at following instructions at the best of times, and I find these ones really hard to follow. I'm going to try not to talk over the crinkling. I say that every time, and then I'll just continue talking while I crinkle. So many pieces. So many pieces. I'm going to try to pander on again, just like last time, while we get through this thing. See if I can build it while filling the air with nonsense. That is the plan, at any way. At any rate would be the correct way to say that. Not at any way. I don't know if it's possible. I'm not that good at filling air sometimes. Like the other ones, we'll talk about probably my experience with this technology. So arcade machines are definitely still a thing. And have been for a while, and probably will be for quite a while into the future. But they were much larger back in the 90s when I was young. We had a lot more arcades and places that were based around just going to play arcade machines. But I didn't spend too much time at those arcades. The only time that we would ever really go to them would be for birthday parties. And we definitely did go to a number of birthday parties. There was actually one that we went to that had a bunch of these quarter-type arcades with video games, but also had a slot car derby area. Where you could race slot cars. If people don't know what slot cars are, they're these cars on a track that has this like inlaid track in it that would put a signal through that, which the cars had like this little brush underneath that would slip into the slot, and it would power the vehicles when you pulled down the trigger on the slot car, and then they would zoom around the track. It was really fun. I actually have a Batman one. I'm sure I've spoken about it before. Batman one based on the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. It has Mr. Freeze vehicle in the Batmobile. I'm pretty sure it's still at my mother's house, although I would be very surprised if it still works. Very surprised. So that's one memory I have of that. I remember playing the Ninja Turtles arcade game there. And not being very good at it. I do remember being really bad at those arcade games, and now that you can get arcade games fairly easily for your house, I mean, fairly easily, you just have to spend money on them. Video games have become a lot more, arcade games have become a lot more accessible. There are still arcades that have them, although usually if I go to arcades, I try to play the games that are a little bit too much like gambling, I think. I played a lot of the SpongeBob Coin Pusher, because that reminded me of places like Jolly Genies and Crash Crawlies, which were similar to... Oh, are these not right? These are not right. That were similar to... What's the name of the one that I actually didn't ever go to? Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. They were off-brand Chuck E. Cheeses, but we never went to them, so... I would consider them the regular brand. But one of my favorite memories of an arcade machine was actually at a little sort of, not a trailer park per se, but it was a camper park where you would stop with your family to camp at, and it would have like facilities that you could go to. And they had a little laundromat for everyone to use, as well as a pool and that kind of thing. Now, when we went to the little laundromat area, wouldn't you know it, they had a couple of arcade machines. And I don't really remember what the arcade machines were. I believe there was a Galaga machine and a wrestling machine, if my memory serves correctly. And we were playing a lot of both of them. Now, the reason I remember this more about the area than I do about the games is what we saw inside of there was actually a black widow spider, which is a North American spider that is fairly venomous. And I had never seen one before. So me and my brother found it. And we thought it was the coolest thing. We were like, oh, don't get too close to it. It'll kill you. But we'd never seen something like that before. So we thought it was really cool. So we showed it to my cousin, who proceeded to immediately kill it. Because, you know, older relatives will do that. It was, I think, possibly a bit of an overreaction on his part. But, you know, what are you going to do? Okay, so that goes there. Nope, that doesn't go there. Dag nabbit, I'm so bad at following instructions. This happens every time. Every time. Every time. Well, I try to get this part apart. Let's see, what other memories do I have regarding... let's see if I can get it apart by putting other pieces on it and then using those to apply pressure. Nope. I always have to use my teeth every time. Oh, for the love of Pete, that was correct. Ay. I'm killing my teeth for nothing. Another memory. I'm so easily distracted. Like, just the easiest person in the world to distract when it comes to this kind of stuff. I just always forget what I'm doing. Memories of video games. I do remember one of my friend's fathers having a man cave when I went to visit with their own custom arcade cabinet, and that was really cool. Arcade cabinets are still such a cool thing. There's actually a place that I can go to where they have times where the arcade... only adults are allowed to go to play at the arcade, so that you don't have to deal with all of the really loud kids. You can just go and play arcade games with only the deafening sounds of the arcade machines to make it so you can't hear anything, which I find very funny. Arcade games are also really hard. You know, they were made specifically to be hard and unfair so that you would lose your money and have to put in more and more quarters. More and more quarters. I mean, still fun. Another memory, now I knew there was something. I had remembered something, and it had completely left my mind when I realized that I was following the instructions completely wrong because, you know... reasons. We used to take the ferries a lot. We would take the ferry, and on the ferry they always have an arcade room, which still exists even now. But just like back then, there's always quite a number of the machines that are broken. And this is the most consistent memory I have of arcades is just the machines are always broken. There's always a machine broken. It's like the McDonald's ice cream machine. Always broken. Always broken. Oh, man, I just unlocked a core memory for a second there. You guys know, I don't know how far this went, but there was a place called Palladium, which was an arcade over here. And we used to go there. I remember going for a birthday party and being blown away by the virtual reality coaster. Virtual reality roller coaster, which I'm certain if I was to use now... would be completely ridiculous because What did I... Yeah, I did. I missed a spot. I keep missing things. Virtual reality coaster, which I'm sure if I use now would not be anything like the ones that you could see now, the virtual reality coasters that probably exist today. But back then, it felt so real with my limited experience of virtual reality. And they had like a virtual reality hang gliding game where you would control, like you would lie down on this thing and move around, and it would show this 3D render of a polygon who was hang gliding. And we thought it was so realistic. It was so cool. And then they would have all of those racing games where you would get onto the fake motorcycle and lean back and forward to control your motorcycle. You'd always have to wait in line too, because there's always so many people there. Just so many people. Unfortunately, Palladium, I think it still exists as a name. Like, I believe the company was at first in partnership with... Now, I don't know for sure if this is accurate, but I know that they still have Palladium locations inside of theaters, which are now, they've got like a whole arcade section inside the theater, but it's much smaller. It used to be this huge... although, you know, now come to think of it, it might not have been as big because I was much smaller then, so maybe it just seemed really big. But it was this huge, like, building with all these arcades all over the place. I actually don't think it was as big as I remember. I do remember having 2 floors, which it probably did. But it was a long time ago. And man, I just love arcade machines. I love it when you go into a store and there's just an arcade machine in the corner. It's like, does it get played very much? Probably not. But is it still really cool? Definitely. Definitely one of the cooler things that exists. And I still want to get one for myself at some point, which is not something that I have done. I've not built myself an arcade machine yet, but it is definitely something that I want to do. I'm very much interested in one day building myself an arcade machine. Like, I kind of want to try to build one from scratch. I know they're not, they're definitely not as difficult to make anymore. With the age of 3D printing and everything, things are a lot more accessible now. 3D printing and manufacture, I have several family members with a lot of woodworking tools to make the cabinet, and the hardest thing I think is going to be to find a CRT I can use. And I can find an old computer to turn into the brains of the thing. And I believe that there's probably a lot of guides online on how to make the actual, like, bits of the arcade work. At this point in time, I have no idea how to do it, nor do I know when I'll have the time to, but sometime I'd like to try to figure it out. I don't know when, but sometime. I think it would be very cool to try to make one. I also don't really have room for it at the moment. It's one of those things where it's like, it's a dream that I will probably always have, and maybe one day, you know, I'll be able to do such a thing. It'd be really cool. Like I say, I really, really enjoy the idea of making one. Where is this going? I'm so confused. 3... Okay. So, like this. These instructions are hard to follow. I was looking up stuff about these online, and one of the complaints is how difficult the instructions are to follow, and I do agree. Definitely agree that these instructions are very hard to follow. Couldn't find who the designer of these were. I was trying to figure that out. I was looking it up online, but I couldn't find any information about them. I've heard talk that it could have been a Lego designer that had made the designs, and then they were taken by Zuru, but I can't find any information on who the designer was, so I have no idea. Whoever designed them, they did a great job. But I don't know who. I wonder if it's on the documentation. I didn't look. I don't think it is. I feel like all construction kits should have the designer's name on it so that you can give props to the very talented designers of these things, because they are really well done. I don't think I've ever had a construction set from like a main company that I didn't think was really well designed. This is not an exception. It is very cool. And all of these retro ones are very cool. I'm quite attached to all of them because they're very, very reminiscent for me. Bring back a lot of memories. And actually, I still do try to go to the arcade every now and again. There's one in one of the larger malls downtown that occasionally we will hit up so that I can go and get my arcade fix. Most of my friends have kind of grown out of the whole arcade thing, but they'll humor me and go to play arcades with me. You know, because they know that I'm correct and that arcades are awesome. Which they are. They truly, truly are. All right, we're making good progress. Next, joystick. That's another thing, is that arcade machines have those really great joysticks with the micro switches. Ah, man. And if I make a custom one, I get to pick what switches are in there. And I'm definitely buying micro switched controllers and buttons. Oh, they're just so much better when it comes to that haptic feedback. If that's the correct term, which I think it is. I doubt myself now, though, so, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really like how it's hollow because it makes me feel like it's gonna fall to bits. What am I missing? Oh, I see. I'm missing part of the instructions. That's what. I do that a lot. I'm really bad at this. I was actually building a kit for fun that my brother purchased for me. He bought me the 75th anniversary Millennium Falcon. Is that 75th anniversary? That seems wrong. But he bought me the anniversary Millennium Falcon, however many years it was. And it was really cool. But I kept putting it together wrong and having to take it apart and re-put it back together. I also kind of like kept losing interest in building it and moving over to do something else for a while and then coming back. Sorry, I'm getting distracted now. I'm really bad at this multitasking thing. So I would finish one of the bags, like, you know how they come in numbered bags now, official Lego kits. And I would finish one of the bags and then be like, oh, I'm going to take a break from building Lego and move off to do something else. And just leave it on the coffee table to sit, which is never a super good idea. So we had a friend come over who kept on messing with all of my bits, playing with the incomplete Falcon, which I did not appreciate. But he would not be stopped. No, he would not. That's okay. Do 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 do. Okay, so this one comes with stickers. So we've talked about many times, I hate stickers on construction sets. Simply abhor them. But in this case, I'll make an exception. Because I believe that the actual arcade machines have stickers on the sides of them usually. Or are they a stencil? I'm not actually sure. Probably depends. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say probably some of them have stickers and some of them have a stencil. And whatever. This one's going to have stickers. Without the stickers, already pretty recognizable. With the stickers, I think it'll be even more recognizable. Now we put on the marquee, which unfortunately does not light up, but you know, that's okay. So the biggest issue I have with stickers for these kinds of sets is kind of defeats the whole remakeability of these things, because now, and I've put the sticker on badly, because now, because I'm putting it over top of two pieces, I can't take off the sticker and use those parts for something else and then ever remake the set again. Oh, come on. This is really frustrating me. Because the sticker goes over two pieces. So because it goes over two pieces, okay, I'm probably going to have to just accept that it's not going to be perfect. Because it's going over two pieces... Oh, man, I messed that up. Because it's going over two pieces, I can never take it off without having to separate the two pieces. If it was a stencil on the two separate pieces, then it would be different. Or if they had just had one piece that was that long instead of two pieces. Finish your thought, you foolish fool. Okay. These ones are even worse because this is a huge piece that I'm putting it over the side of. So, you know. That's even worse. Ah, for the love of... This is why I hate stickers. Good enough. And then on the other side, we'll do the same thing. Then we're done. There we are. Kind of wish this moved. No, it's really cool. Clearly is an arcade machine. I would say of the three that we've made so far, it's the weakest. Just because I really like these two better. This one has the like opening cassette drawer with a cassette inside of it. This one has the mouse and keyboard. This one doesn't really have anything extra to it. It's just a stationary thing, but it still looks cool. Still really neat. We've only got 3 more to go, and of the last 3, one of them I think will rival these two, and then the other 2 I think are more along the lines of that one. But we'll see when we get to them. So that's it for this episode, guys. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.